Hi friend, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle Carreo and today we're going to be talking about hair porosity. In order for us to be able to understand what hair porosity is, we first need to understand the structure of the hair. The structure of the hair is made up of three layers. The first layer is the medulla. The medulla is the innermost part of the hair and it is only present in thick and coarse hair, aka African hair. It is, however, not essential for the overall structure of hair. Therefore, not everyone has that medulla. The cortex is the middle layer of the hair and it is the main structural component of hair. It is made up of long fibrous cells which contain the protein keratin, and this is responsible for giving our hair its strength and elasticity, and it also contains melanin which gives our hair its color. The cuticle is the outermost layer of the hair and it is made up of overlapping scales which are tightly packed. The cuticle is responsible for protecting the hair from damage and keeping that moisture balance in the hair, and this is where hair porosity comes in. So we can define hair porosity as the hair's ability to absorb and retain moisture. I repeat, hair porosity is the ability of the hair to absorb and retain moisture. When the cuticle is tightly sealed, your hair is said to be low porosity hair. And this makes it a bit harder for moisture to come into the hair, but then also it makes it hard for moisture to leave the hair. There are a few things that you can do that can help the cuticle open up just a bit so slightly, just to let in some moisture, and then it shuts back up and it retains that moisture for a long period of time. And this just says that low porosity hair is healthy hair, as opposed to what we actually think. We think that low porosity hair is problematic hair, but it's really healthy hair because you want that moisture to be retained. The only problem that you might have with low porosity hair is product buildup. So we need to understand that when the cuticle is tightly packed, it's harder for product to come in, and that is why low porosity hair doesn't like thick products. If you put thick products, it's just gonna sit on the hair and continue building up, and it's going to block that moisture from coming in. Remember, your cuticle is already tight, and then you just add a thick layer on. It's just going to make it so much harder for your hair to be moisturized. And remember that dryness is the #1 cause for breakage. So even if you keep applying all this product and it's not penetrating into the hair, your hair is going to break, honey. Even if you're applying how many millions of products, it's just seated there. So you need to understand that, one, you need to get out that product buildup, and also you need to be able to open up the cuticle ever so slightly, and you need to be able to get a product that will get into the hair shaft. So this goes to say that low porosity hair likes liquids. Stay away from the creams, from the thick creams and butters. Go for the liquids. Look for a liquid leave-in conditioner, a liquid styler, liquid oils that will penetrate more easily into your hair, and you'll have such an easy time. By the way, you'll have such an easy time when you go for liquids. And as for the product buildup, you need to find a good clarifying shampoo. If you have low porosity hair, it's actually okay for you to use a shampoo that has a sulfate in it, because it will not strip your hair. It's just gonna remove that gunky layer to allow moisture to get into your already tightly packed cuticle. I hope that makes sense. So something that can help with low porosity hair is using a hair steamer. For example, if you only have a creamy conditioner and you really have to use it, what you can do is water it down, mix it with water and make it more runny, and then that will help the ingredients that are good for your hair in the product penetrate into your hair with the water. Does that make sense? It'll just make it easier for it to absorb into your hair. The other thing is, we think that low porosity hair is protein sensitive, and that's not exactly the case. Yes, low porosity hair is not a huge fan of protein, but it does not mean that it does not need protein. Like I said, the middle layer of the hair contains protein, and that strengthens the hair and gives gives the hair its elasticity. Hey, kizungu. Yeah, so sometimes if you keep on just moisturizing, you're just pumping your hair with moisture and no protein, your strands will get something called hydral fatigue, because it's just all moisture and no strength. So you'll see your curl pattern is it's deteriorating, like it's disappearing a bit. Your hair just looks like it's just like So once in a while you need to use protein on your hair, and hydrolyzed protein is what you need if you have low porosity hair, because it will penetrate into the strand more easily. Hydrolyzed protein, guys. So if you're looking for a treatment, you can check and see hydrolyzed protein, and that's the one you get, but not all the time, just once in a while. And I can't tell you exactly when to put it. It's just for you to see how your hair feels. Treat your hair like, like a baby. When your baby is hungry, when your baby needs to be changed, So the more you interact with your hair, the more you realize what it is that your hair needs. Let's jump to high porosity hair. When the cuticle is wide open, like it's just and leave the door open. That's high porosity hair. It's just like, oh. High porosity hair easily absorbs water, but it does not retain that moisture at all. It's in and out, in and out, in and out. So with this type of hair, the goal is to try and lower that cuticle. The goal is to try and lower that cuticle, or try and seal in the moisture. You seal it in so that the moisture remains in. So if you have high porosity hair, this is where you go all out with those thick creams and butters, because you want it to, just you lock in that moisture. And high porosity hair loves protein. It loves protein, because you'll find that high porosity hair is probably damaged. If you have heat damage, you most likely have high porosity hair. If you have color damage, you most likely have high porosity hair. If you keep on using chemicals on your hair, you get categoria high porosity, and you need to make sure that you keep moisturizing that hair, you keep adding protein to keep it strong and maintain that elasticity so it doesn't break off easily. Because that's now, if you have high porosity hair and you don't moisturize it, you don't give it protein, you'll just be here saying, my hair never grows. It does grow, honey. It's just that it keeps breaking off at the weakest ends, because you see, your ends are the oldest part of your hair. They've been with you since day one. These guys, they're still babies, they're toddlers, they're teenagers, and these are just like the shoshos. Your ends are the shoshos and wukas of your strand, and then here is like the young adults, the teenagers, the toddlers, and the infants. You get? And as we go up like that, your porosity will probably change. You'll find that up here near your scalp you have low porosity, and then as you go down the hair, it's high porosity. Like I mentioned, with low porosity hair, go all out with your steamer. But if you have high porosity hair, you don't want to lift that cuticle any more than it already is. So you want to stay away from the steamer, because that will just aggravate that cuticle and open it up further than it already is, and we don't want that. We want to try and close it. When you're conditioning your hair, you just use your body heat, okay? Like you put on a shower cap and you can wrap a towel on top, and that's it. Don't add heat to it, because you don't want that cuticle to open up any further. So another thing is, high porosity hair can benefit greatly with products that have a low pH, and this is why apple cider vinegar rinses, guys. Apple cider vinegar rinses, that's where it's at, because apple cider has a low pH, and when you use it, it's gonna try and it's gonna calm that cuticle down a bit, and it's gonna close kidogo too. It won't actually now become low porosity hair. No, it's just not gonna be it's just gonna be like you get. When you have high porosity hair, this is when you go look for a sulfate free shampoo, because you don't want to strip your hair already. You don't want to strip it more than it already has been stripped. There is no build up there, so you need no sulfates. Like, it just needs to be a very gentle shampoo. It needs to be a very gentle shampoo. So you shampoo your hair with a sulfate free shampoo. Step 1. Step 2, you get a nice strengthening and moisturizing conditioner. You apply it, you put on your shower cap and your towel. You stay 30 minutes. You don't need to stay more than 30 minutes. 30 minutes is all you need. And then you wash it out. If you're extra like me, you can add a bit of apple cider to that deep conditioner to just start lowering that cuticle. Just a bit, just like a tablespoon of apple cider. You stay with it 30 minutes and then you wash it out with cold water. Don't use hot water, because again, heat opens up. When it's cool, you get. So you rinse it with cold water, and then you do an apple cider vinegar rinse. So you take water, you take your apple cider, you mix it half and half, or even quarter apple cider, 3/4 water. You mix it, you spray it on your hair, and then you just rinse it one last time with cold water, and that will really, really, really encourage your cuticle to just like calm down, like bas. So we've talked about low porosity hair, we've talked about high porosity hair, and then now we have the medium porosity hair. So this is it's neither hot nor cold, it's just there, it's just somewhere there. It's not too open, not too tightly closed, it's just open, you get. So moisture can come in, it can easily come in. It's not hard, it's not difficult for it to come in, and it's not difficult for it to come out, you get. It's just like in the middle of the two. What I like to say though is, if you have medium porosity, I think you should treat it like high porosity, because the line is very thin. If you continue using heat on your hair and you have medium porosity hair, you just jump into that high porosity category. Everything is just like neutral, not too thick, not too thin, not too liquidy, not too chunky. You get, you don't use a steamer, but you can use a hooded dryer. You get, when you're moisturizing, you don't need to use you shouldn't use shampoo with sulfate in it. You still use sulfate free shampoo when you're because you treat it more like it's uko high porosity hair. Yeah, so it's just in the middle, you get. So if you understand low porosity and you understand high porosity, I feel like you can. Medium porosity is a bit self-explanatory. Kindly let me know in the comments if you want me to dive deeper into medium porosity. And I feel like a lot of us fall there because we're like low medium porosity or medium high porosity, and it keeps changing, guys. You won't have one porosity type for the rest of your life. Another thing is how to determine your hair porosity. So before, I used to advise people to do the test for the glass. You take a strand of hair, then you put it in water. If it floats, if it sinks, if it's in the middle, that one. And I feel that it's not accurate, to be honest, because you'll take dirty hair and then you put it in the glass and it sinks. But if you wash it, it will float. You get, like, there are too many variables there. So a simpler way to know the porosity of your hair: one, how fast does your hair get wet? When you pour water on your hair, does it just sit on your hair? Like, it doesn't penetrate, it just, like, you just see the beads of water just like on the surface of your hair. If you see that, that means that you have low porosity hair, again, because it's tightly packed. But if you just put water in your hair, just you probably have high porosity hair or medium to high porosity hair. So it takes a bit of time. You won't know it, you won't understand it immediately. Just do this and I am this porosity, I'm this porosity. It takes a bit of time. You just need to keep working with your hair. You keep observing, that's the word. You keep observing your hair. You see what it likes, what it dislikes, and by the end of the day or a month or two, I feel like you'll really understand what porosity your hair is. If you'd like me to go a bit more deeper into this, kindly let me know in the comments. Let me know what porosity you think you are. Has this information helped you in any way? Let me know. Let's have a conversation. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I am so grateful to you guys. I hope I've given you a bit of value, and if you feel I have, please smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and share it with your friends. Yeah, so thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.